What's up guys, thanks for clicking on this video. Today we're gonna pull back the curtain and see what all goes into the process of creating a song with a video. So yeah, buckle up, there is a lot in this video that we're gonna dive into. What's up guys, my name is Noah. If you're new to my channel, I am a cinematographer, photographer, audio engineer, and musician. On my channel, I like to just create content about what I'm passionate about. That's gonna be sometimes covers, gear reviews, and tutorials. Like I said, today we're gonna be pulling back the curtain and looking at the process of what it takes to create a cover, along with a video to release it. There's tons of different ways to do this, but this is just my own personal way that I do it. And so I hope that it can kind of help you whether you're wanting to learn from this video or you're just interested in what the process looks like. So I'm gonna break this video up into 6 steps. Step 1 of this process is just getting started, and that is like basically just picking the song that you want to do. So once you have that figured out, you're gonna wanna figure out the version that you would like to create. You could either create it like the original recording, which is what we're gonna do in this video, or you could do an acoustic stripped down version, or you could take it as far out as you want and even, make it sound like a completely different genre. That's also something that people do, and it can have some pretty cool results every now and then. The next step is to figure out the key of the song. You can usually just Google the song and type in key behind it, and you should be able to find a result about what key it is in. If that doesn't work for you, you can download this app called Auto Key. Basically, you just turn on the song and then you just hit listen on the app and it listens to the song and then it tells you what the key of the song is. It usually does very good at this, although sometimes it depends on what section of the song you're playing, so you might have to do it a couple times in different sections to get the correct result. Anyways, once you've figured out the key of the song that it was originally performed in, you want to make sure that whoever's going to be singing on this track is comfortable with that key. In my song that we're going to be going over, it was originally recorded in the key of E, and unfortunately that was a little too low for my wife who's going to be singing on this track. So we have decided to raise it up a whole step to the key of F sharp major. So now that we found out what key the song was recorded in and figured out the key that we're going to record it in, we can dive into the DAW and start getting things set up. All right, so now we're in the DAW. My DAW of choice is Logic Pro X, but you can use pretty much whatever DAW you would like. So once we're in the DAW, what we want to do is figure out the BPM that the song was originally recorded in. That again is very easy by just doing a quick, simple Google of the song and typing in BPM behind it. All right, so I did a quick Google search, and it's pretty easy if you're doing worship songs because they have a resource called multitracks.com, and they have all the information on tons of different worship artists' songs like this one. We're gonna be doing the song All Hail King Jesus, performed by Bethel Music. So the BPM for this song is 74, and the time signature is 4/4. So we're gonna go to our DAW, and by default, it's usually set to 4/4 time signature. So what I like to do is I like to double my beats per minute because it just helps me stay in time a little bit easier. So we're gonna just do 74 times 2, which is 148. So we're gonna enter that in now on our DAW. Something else I like to do is just set the key as well in the DAW, just so that it's easy to glance up there and know what key we're gonna be doing everything in. So like I said, we're moving that up to F sharp major. So I just set that. The next step is you want to download the original recorded audio so that you can drop it into your DAW. So to do that, I go to YouTube and I find usually the lyric video, that way there's no sounds or anything from a music video. And then I copy the link and I paste it into an online converter. Sometimes these online converters are a little bit shady, so just be careful if you're gonna be using these. I've never had any issues with them, but I just download it as our reference to record to. So I just pasted my YouTube video link into this converter. I like to use a YouTube to WAV converter because WAV files usually play back the best in DAWs. One thing that I forgot to mention that's super helpful in these sorts of projects is having good file management. So I just created a folder on one of my hard drives that is titled the song, and then as you look here on the screen, you can see we got assets, bounces, final, and project. And this just allows us to keep all of our files in one place so that we don't lose track of things. So I just got done downloading the YouTube video as a WAV file. I just dropped it into our assets folder for our audio project. So from there, I'm gonna drag that audio file from my hard drive to my DAW. Once you have it in your DAW, this is where you want to basically sync up your song with your grid. So the easiest way to do that is to look for the large hits from the drums and line those up with the beginning of each measure on the grid in the DAW. And one thing that I did want to mention is it helps to have a click on during this because then you can tell if it's in sync or not. I personally don't like the default click in Logic, so I usually create my own click, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, so I just did a quick test to see if everything was lining up right, and it sounds good to me. So what I want to do now is transpose the original track up that whole step like I mentioned, so that way, as we're recording in the key that we want to record in, not the original. So to do that, I'm just going to go to Pitch Shifter, which is pretty standard in pretty much every DAW. So this is kind of sounding like crap, so I'm gonna try and use Planning Center's transpose tool that is free online. So here's what it sounds like. Cool, so the next step, which is one of the most critical ones for this whole process, is adding arrangement markers. You might ask, Noah, what the heck are arrangement markers? Well, I'm about to show you. So in Logic Pro X, I basically hit this drop down arrow and then I can select arrangement markers. And I'm sure these are probably in other DAWs as well, but basically you add these and then you move them and name them for the different sections of the song. This is critical for being able to quickly look at the grid and know which section is which without having to listen through the entire song every time. This really speeds up the workflow as you are recording all the different instruments. So we'll get these put in right now, starting off with the intro and then the verse and then the chorus. Okay, so we got our arrangement markers in. It takes a little bit because you have to listen through the song and make sure you've lined them up where they need to be. But once you get them in, it's really handy. One final thing that I like to do personally is I like to color code my arrangement markers. That way I can really easily just look and at a glance by the color know what section of the song it is. Like I said, this is just a personal thing and these are the colors that I personally use. You don't have to use these, but once you kind of get kind of a system in your head, you can easily have it memorized. So that way, again, you can just glance and know what section is what. So for me, I like to have my intros as red. I like to have my verses as yellow. I like to have my choruses as purple. So I'm just gonna go through and do my verses and my choruses here. I like to have my outro as orange. I like to have my bridge as green. And then I sometimes just will flip-flop some of the other ones because not every song I work on has a pre-chorus. So I'll make my pre-chorus as pink. This little refrain here, again, that's not in every song, so I'll just make that one like teal. Cool. All right, so now, if I look at this, I can now see my timeline here and I can see all of the sections of the songs laid out for me and color coded. So this will make the recording process go a lot faster. One more thing I'm gonna add now is a guide to cue in whenever the singer is supposed to sing the first line. Sometimes certain songs like this that have a very ambient intro or start right away, it can be really tricky for the artist to know when exactly to come in. So this kind of just saves some time and takes the guessing game out. You can easily pick up these guides and clicks from Multitracks. They have this on their website as a free download, which is super helpful. This guide will come in handy later whenever we get to the video process as well.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
So I like my guide to have a click in between the numbers that it counts off if the song is slow enough. Sometimes if the song is too fast, you can't do that, but in this instance, it works great. So basically I lined up the title, which in this case is intro, on the first beat, and then I zoomed in and I skipped the second beat, which is on the 2, and then I put her 2 on the 3, skipped the 4, put the 3 on the first beat in the next measure, skip the 2 again, and then on the 3, I put the 4, and then it skips the next beat, and then the artist comes in on the top bar of the clicks.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
So, yeah. There you have it. That is step 1, and that is getting the whole entire song set up and the DAW set up so that you are ready to go to step 2, which is going to be the recording process. So again, this whole video is just my personal workflow. So take it with a grain of salt and apply it if you'd like. So usually how I like to start in a recording process is by doing the main rhythm instruments first. So an example, that's gonna be drums, bass, acoustic guitar, and sometimes piano and even rhythm electric guitar if you're gonna have that in the song.
What's up, everybody? It's Mitch, and I had the privilege of playing keys on All Hail King Jesus, a cover that Courtney Hirschy is doing.
Then after that, you'll add what I like to call the sprinkles, which is more of like your lead electric guitar, any synth or percussion or sound effects that you want to have in the track as well. Once you get all of that recorded and laid out, then you can move on to recording vocals. My process with recording vocals is usually I have the artist do the melody first.
All hail King Jesus.
Then if there's gonna be any doubles of the melody or things like that, we'll knock those out as well. Then we'll move on to doing harmonies or any other extras that need to be added.
Oh, the King of Life was on the move, yeah.
So once your recording is all wrapped up, it's time to get your song mixed and mastered. This could be an entire separate video of my workflow of how I like to mix my songs and master my songs. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to drop a comment below and let me know if you'd like to see a video about my workflow for mixing and mastering. The final step, once you have your song mixed and mastered, is to do the trusty old car test. What I mean by that is taking your song into a car with a really good sound system and seeing how your mix sounds. Usually in this test, you will hear a lot of things that you didn't hear in the studio, which is very unfortunate because you'll end up having to go back and do probably a couple revisions. And that process of the revisions can be pretty painful if you end up having to do quite a few. But it is a very important part of the process to make sure that you have a great sounding mix. After you've signed off on your mix and you're happy with it, it's time to move on to step 4, which is my personal favorite, and that is the video production step. So in this step, you'll want to decide what your video is going to look like and what it's all going to entail. You can either do as much or as little as you want, but something to remember is that ultimately this is what's going to attract people to listen to your song. So once you decide what your video is going to look like and entail, it's time to go to that location if it's on a location, and then set up all of your lighting and your camera and basically get all of that ready to go. You'll also want to make sure that you have some sort of speaker system there so that way you can play the track for the artist to lip sync to. I've found that it really helps to have the click track on along with that guide at the beginning so the artist knows when to come in. So once you're all set up, you'll film the artist singing through the track multiple times at different angles. A general rule of thumb is to have a wide, medium, and a tight, and then do a couple different takes of all 3 of those. This should give you lots of different options to pick from whenever you're editing.
We are on the set of our music video shoot here at Remedy Live. We're using a LED wall. Make it look like we're in the Garden of Gethsemane. So yeah. How you feeling, Court?
Ready.
You're ready to rock
Ready
it?
to do this. Yep.
Look a little bit different from the last time that they've seen you, right? They saw you in the studio last time when you were actually recording.
Belting it out.
Belting it out, and now it's time to get all pretty for the camera. So yeah, we are down to the wire on this. We're gonna be posting this video on Easter Sunday, and it is currently Wednesday? It's Wednesday night. I have been super busy at my day job here at Remedy Live, and so it's been pretty crazy trying to get this knocked out as fast as we can. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. So I'll set up this camera so you guys can kind of see behind the scenes of what's going on. This is the rig for the music video. We're gonna be shooting with the red Komodo X on the DJI Ronin RS4 Pro with the Tilta Advanced Ring Grip. We are using a Dizio Pavo x2 anamorphic lens. We're going to be shooting with a 40mm for pretty much the whole shoot. So that should give us some nice cinematic images. So yeah, that's the rig. I'm going to have that on an easy rig harness, so I got to get that down yet. So yeah, we're actually going to have some fog going for this shoot just to give it a nice ambient look. So we should actually probably get that going. Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
Stay on it.
Woo! Yeah. We gotta get foggy in here, man.
Whoa, look at that.
This is actually the first time we are testing out a new fog juice today. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully our fire alarm system doesn't go off, because we've always turned it off in the past. So we'll see how it goes. Darkest day in history, and the veil was torn. What sacrifice was made as the heavens roared? Hi, Noah here. So yes, I have this giant scorpion harness on at the moment. So wanted to talk about a couple things while Courtney's getting changed. So a trick that we're using in this video is for this intro scene where we want it to be looking similar to the Garden of Gethsemane in the movie The Passion of the Christ. If you've ever seen that, it's very dark and blue, and you can just, it has just this moonlight feel to it. So a trick that we're doing on this is I set my camera's white balance to, I think, like 2200 or 2600. I'll put it, you know, like right here somewhere in the video of what that exact number of the white balance Kelvin temperature was, but it's in the 2000s. And so what it's doing is it's taking our 5600 lights and it's making them all look really blue. And so what that's doing is it's just making us viewers think that this is at night being lit by the moon. So that's the lighting setup for that, and kind of the trick we're doing with the color temperature.
So once filming has ended, then you'll import all of your footage into your computer. I usually put it on an external hard drive and have a folder for it. That way everything is nicely organized. Then I can take that hard drive with me to work or to my office. Now we're on step number 5, and that's gonna be the video editing step. So what you'll do after you have shot your video and imported it, you'll open your video editing software and you'll import all of your footage you've shot. You'll import your mixed and mastered audio file. You'll get all of those takes that you shot on video and you will sync them all up to that audio track. Again, that could be an entire another video. So if you guys are interested in seeing my music video editing workflow, drop a comment below and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. So once you have your videos, once you have all of your angles, once you have all of your takes synced up and all of your selects made, once you have your takes, once you have all of your takes synced up, once you have all of your takes synced up and you've made all of your cuts, now it's time to render it and export. One quick tip before you close your video editing software, find about a 60-second clip of the best part of the song and put that into a vertical timeline and export that. That'll be a great teaser for whenever you start promoting on socials. Another thing to look for is an awesome still shot that you can take a screenshot of for like a thumbnail later on. All right, now we're down to the final step, and that is step 6, and that is posting and promoting your cover. In the digital age, this is one of the most crucial parts if you want people to actually see your hard work. So usually the first couple steps to this is uploading your video to YouTube and then uploading your audio to a middleman distributor to the streaming platforms. An example of this would be a place like DistroKid, and that's personally what we use, but there's tons of other options out there. From there, you'll want to select the go live date. Usually this is on a Friday. Most music releases on Fridays for some reason. I don't know why. But you'll select that on your audio distributor, DistroKid in our case. And then on YouTube, you will want to make sure that you have uploaded that as an unlisted video, because then you can select a go live date whenever you want the video to go public. What you'll do is just match the same date that your audio is going live, but usually we make these videos go live around 12 p.m. instead of 12 a.m. because you get a bit more attention at 12 p.m. than 12 a.m. One thing that I forgot to mention, that with uploading your audio to streaming platforms, you will have to have album art. So a great thing to use is Canva. They have tons of great templates for your YouTube thumbnails, your album art, whatever you need for socials and things like that. They have tons of great templates on there where you can add text and things like that. So once you got all of your go live dates made, you'll want to put a great description on your YouTube video. Usually include some of your socials on there and stuff like that. That way it can cross-populate and all that stuff, you know, the social media world, how it works, it's kind of weird. You'll also want to swap your thumbnail on the YouTube video to that really cool screen grab from your video editor, because that will attract more attention as well. Then here's another thing that I usually almost always forget that is great to do early on, and that is to upload your pre-save links for the audio and your YouTube video link to your link tree. So if you don't have a link tree, I highly suggest setting that up. It's basically a master link that you can put more links in, which is really handy for like an Instagram bio where you can only have one link. So you can create basically this link that takes you to more links. It's like linkception, if you think about it. But anyways, so I like to put my YouTube video link in there ahead of time. And then I like to put the pre-save link, and you'll listen on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff links in there as well. It's pretty cool. They have an on and off switch. So basically you can turn off the links that you don't want people to see until it's time for them to go live. And then all you have to do is just boop, turn them on. Another thing that you can do is you can actually create a draft of your teaser video on Instagram. This is helpful again so that once your video goes live, you're not scrambling trying to get all of this stuff posted after it's already went live. All you have to do is just hit a couple buttons and you're good to go, and everybody's able to see all of your content. So that is it. Like I said, it's a pretty intense process of getting a song recorded, mixed, mastered, and then a video shot, and then everything edited and put together and then released out to social media for everybody to see and listen to. But it is very rewarding and very fun if you know you're a creative, so I highly encourage it. So there you have it. That is all the 6 steps that I personally use when it comes to creating a song that is going to be needing a music video. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop the comments below. I love to help out and answer technical questions where I can. If you guys liked what you saw and heard, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, give it a share, maybe if you want to spread the knowledge with others. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, smash that subscribe button. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.